right. Hey, everybody. What's up? Welcome to the Feedback Forum. I'm your host, Publishing Pete Cimetti, and I believe I have a guest host today. Let me see, a guest co-host anyway. Kier, is that you?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Hey, all right. Are you going to be joining me today as a co-host, or are you looking for feedback?
Well, I'm always looking for feedback, but I ain't got anything to share, so I'll just hang out with you if that's okay.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we can hopefully offer some helpful advice to some people out there. All right. So before we begin, I want to preface it by saying that the feedback forum is very similar to the open mic shows where we have an open invite for people that can join the show here if you need some feedback, some helpful advice on a project, anything you're working on, really writing, storytelling, your art, a crowdfunder, whatever it may be. We're here to try and help. With that said, though, you don't need to take any of our advice. We're just trying to be helpful. We're just trying to offer some of our own experiences and hopefully steer you down towards a path of success. Everything we say is not 100% proven to be successful kinds of things to do for everyone because it's only based on our own experiences. So everyone's experiences are different. Everyone, what they can do, what they have time to do, their skill level, their experience level is going to be different. But with that said as well, bring in a thick skin. Don't have that, we're not trying to make personal attacks on you. We're not trying to make you feel bad or quit or anything like that. We're just trying to make you hopefully improve your craft over time, whatever that may be. Ryan Wynn, what's up? Says, get in there, get your feedback and take it like a man.
Take it like a man. That's right. You got to, man. That's everything in life.
Oh, goodness. Well, yeah,
it's the only way you grow.
Okay. All right. Abominable Grizzly says, hello, everyone. Hey, Abominable Grizzly. There's Kier in the chat as well. Reverend Saber, what's up? Hope you're doing well. We got El Padrino here, too. Says, what up, fellas? Chris Fisk, how are you doing? Hope you're doing good. We got Paul Riley here, too. What's up, Paul? El Padrino says, nice self-portrait, Kier.
That's right. The Hulk, Picasso style.
Excal, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Hey, Oliver from 656. Hope you're doing good, too. Let's see. Allison says, I object to that. Take it like a man. Just saying. Yeah, I was going to say, take it like an adult. Take it like an adult. Yeah, take it like a grown-up. If you're a child, I understand. I expect it. If we have any 8 or 9-year-olds that ever join the show and here's my work. I have it on my parents' fridge. What do you think? We'll be a little gentle. We'll be more encouraging than trying to make a tough up person out of you. But once you pass the age of adulthood and you enter into the 18 to 20 territory,
you're in the arena then.
Yeah. Now all bets are off. We're going to give it to you straight and honest.
Don't go to Neil Adams. He'll tell you.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, we're not going to do anything like that. We're not here to break you down and make you cry and then rebuild you back up again because I don't have the time. We only have about an hour on this show. But we're here to be helpful. So with that said, the first guest on board today for the feedback forum is Abominable Grizzly. What's up, Abominable?
Hello.
Hey, what have you got for us today?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. I just wanted to thank you for having me on, and the advice last time was a big help.
Oh, good.
I think my customers are going to like the next issue with all the
fantastic
things we got.
That's what I like to hear. So what have you got for us today?
Today, I'd like to get some help on our ads. I don't know if you remember, we've taken some ads out in your books.
Okay, yeah.
I kind of want to see if there's a way to make them better.
Sure.
Or there's always a way to make them better, of course. But that's what I want to ask about today. So I want to kind of show you the ads. You can kind of go through them with us or with everyone.
Sure. Can you share your screen or anything like that?
Sure. Let me see here.
How's the ad campaign going on the campaign?
It's going pretty good. I think we've got, like 10 or so full pagers left.
Ooh.
I think there's only maybe 1 or 2 full pagers left on Downcast, and then another one. I think 2 or 3 maybe on Mr. Crypt, maybe 4 or so left on Unit 44, and then there's still a couple of inside covers and a back cover type stuff situation left. But they're going fast. So.
Okay, can you see the ad or is this?
All right, yes, I can see the ad.
Okay, this is the first one that we ran in your books.
Okay.
We're kind of going for like a story theme kind of thing on this one.
Okay. All right. So right off the bat, I'm going to ask you, what are you not happy about? What do you think you can improve?
Well, on this one, on the original one, on the last panel, she was drawn differently. I improved that one. I fixed that part. But to me, this one I thought is okay to me from my perspective. But
Okay.
how could it be better in your view?
Okay. Well, with any kind of ad, whenever you take out a printed ad, especially, and just honestly, even in storytelling, clarity is king. So you want to make sure that it is clear, whatever it is you're trying to convey to the reader, to the potential customer here. You're trying to convey that your ad is the focal point is this. Now, on this ad, you're having it like and I respect the fact that you're doing it like a story, and you're giving them a glimpse of something. But if you want to give them a glimpse of what your book is going to be like, this might be a little too much into like the advertising territory. So what I mean by that is this exactly what your book is going to look like to a reader? I honestly, I don't know. I don't think it is, but maybe it is. To me, this sounds like it's a setup for an ad. So if it is going to be a setup for an ad, you have to make that focal point really sing. And the ad itself, the story that you're telling, should be about the ad. Think of like the Hostess fruit pie ads. Think of all the different comic ads over the years where they've used comic book style storytelling to have an ad. The conversation is about the product. The conversation is about what's occurring. Oh wow, you're getting 35 pages with that kind of a thing. Action packed, whatever. So you're communicating to the reader a story with the characters that you have. Now, if this is an excerpt from your story as well, you can play it like that, but preface it as such in the beginning and talk about, hey, this is the kind of stuff you can expect from, and then you put whatever it is your book is, and then you talk about it again, and then reiterate it again at the bottom. My favorite kinds of ads for comics, because you want to get attention grabbers. So you want to make sure that you're using a proper use of negative space. You want to make sure that the ad is clear and easy to understand, and that your focal point is dead center, right in the face of your reader. There's no confusion about it, because a reader might honestly end up being confused about this, thinking that this might just be a page in the comic. So you take a risk there too when you do a comic style ad. So with that said, is this an excerpt straight out of a comic?
No, it actually isn't. That's what's okay. Yeah, because this wasn't an excerpt from the ad. We're just trying to give a sense of like mystery or something. But what you're saying makes total sense. It's we probably should have focused on the comic itself and not this direction.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing too, is that when we get the ads in, it's not we're not editorial. So I'm not going to go in there and say, your ad really needs improvement. You should have it like this. You should do it like that. You should have this composition in there. You should change this font. You should change this image. When you send the ad in, we put it out there, because we're not the department that changes all that stuff up. It's a whole other ordeal to go down that road. So when you have something set, and I appreciate you stopping by today and talking about it like that, because I don't think many people would actually even have that approach to think, well, I want to do an ad, but I want to do a good ad. I want to put out something that grabs people's attention and makes an effective use of that spot and my advertising dollar. So yeah, if this is something that isn't an excerpt that you just created for the ad, there's a way to do it. But again, make sure that the conversation taking place, so you have, space is a vast void of nothingness. It is unforgiving, ruthless, and deadly. Sound like fun? Welcome aboard. All right. So it tailors it to the bottom. But what happens is that by the time you get to the bottom, the rest of it, like even real estate wise, if you look at that ad, the rest of that ad is screaming, this is the important stuff. And then by the time you get to the bottom, it's kind of like, just check this out. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. So when you get to the bottom, when you put that stuff there, make sure there's something attention grabbing there. Make sure that is centered around as a focal point. And if you have the story being told throughout, you can mention all kinds of different things about the book. You can mention, like I said, the page count, the kind of story it is. Don't play too coy with your ad. Because if you do play really coy with your ad, you could do it, but get away with a very striking image, and then the name of it and the website, that kind of a thing. Like, you're seeing the floating dead guy in space. It's just a black page. He's floating along, and then the name and then the website. Something that's a little bit like, wow, what is this? I got to see this. But if you're going to start really laying it out and giving information through text as well, make sure that you're not being too teasery with it.
Yeah, I get you. That makes sense. Okay, that's cool. All right. Yeah, that makes total sense. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. An ad that, let me see, I got one right over here. An ad that I really like was done by Antoine Dennison for his book here. So I'm going to put this up on I'm going to switch this to full screen for a little bit so you can get a better image. Okay. So he's got a real sharp art and then a quick tagline. Under the new regime, a few will thrive, some will survive, most will die. And then he has the book titled there. And the art really grabs you. He makes the most out of this page here, which is an inside front cover. So that also helps too. The real estate on that helps. But then he's got, who's involved and all of that. But like, see how the difference is where he's got a little bit of that information there. Striking image, and then the hero of the piece, the focal point. Make sure you remember that name of his book. Whereas, so if you look at your ad, let's go back there. You'll see.
Oh, the bottom. Bring it up. There we go.
Yeah, you'll see the difference in the focal point, the difference in the striking manner of it. Because you get so quick on an ad like that to grab attention. So right in the middle, they're looking at this vastness here. And most of the time with an ad, especially, the reader is drawn right dead center.
Mm-hmm.
So if relatively dead center on your ad is the tiny guy floating, and they pick up just, you have to think of it almost through the peripheral sense. So their periphery, they pick up ruthless, they pick up the dead center focus of the guy floating in the middle with the big black space. And if that doesn't immediately catch their attention, they just turn the page. They go to the next page or whatever it is to continue the story. You almost want your ad to stop them, to be so good it stops them in the middle of that story and they go, oh, wow, that's cool.
Okay.
So, so if you get that going, something that offers that contrast, which the highest contrast you have here is with that third panel. So you get that. If you were to blow that up, that's the main focus there. That's the big panel. That's the most of the page. And then you've got the name there, something about the book, creative team, and then obviously a call to action of where to find more, whether it's on sale somewhere or a website or coming to Indiegogo, whatever it may be. You get the thing that grabs the attention, the thing that says this is what it is, and then the thing that says now go here. If you have those three elements in your ad, which you absolutely need to have, and they all need to sing, then you'll have a successful ad. Otherwise, it gets lost in the whole process of translating it.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Can I show you one more? This is what we're kind of working on, and then see what you think of this.
Sure.
Let me see if I can pull it up here. Okay, yeah, here it is. So this is kind of a newer one.
It's definitely a better image. I love the image. The graphic design definitely needs some work. And maybe you even want to talk to Rick Joseph, because Rick Joseph is a fantastic letterer. He had a really great ad as well. And I got to think, because of his lettering being so fantastic, that he also must be a graphic designer. So again, I'll put on full screen here.
All right.
So this is Rick Joseph's ad. And again, he's, boom, comic book lettering. So right off the bat, this speaks to whoever this might be interested in targeting for their comic book lettering. And then he goes into it just explaining the process of comic book lettering a bit, talking about the sound effects and whatnot. Yeah, he's a graphic designer too. There it is, logos, page layouts, PDFs, and all that. So There you go.
Yeah,
He's got his contact information and that kind of a thing. So with that kind of graphic design on your ad and everybody else's ad too, it'd really help it to pop. It'd help it to use because you want to have the graphic design elements be so incorporated with the art that it helps the art to a different level, as opposed to dragging the art down a bit. But yeah, so to me, the image is a lot better. What do you think, Kira? Is this image better than the previous?
Yeah, I like this one. And if you use, like you were saying on the other page, the comic book page one he had, if you used like panel 2 or panel 3 and then just put all the words into that would capture me in there. You know, I like to see just one piece of art that kind of tells a story and then have all the information there. So that seems to work. That seems to be what everybody's doing in your books. I don't have a lot of experience in advertising, but you know, that's what I gravitate towards. So it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. This is definitely a way more eye-catching image. And when you have an eye-catching image too, like this, you know, you really have to work within the composition of the image to make sure everything gets balanced a bit. So Randy is asking, let's see, where's the website on these ads or the QR code? Okay, so QR code, I know many people don't even bother with that. That's a helpful thing. But the website, it's up on the top right. You know, so it's kind of nestled away a bit, away from the focal point. You know, so if you can create almost like put this ad, shrink it up a little bit, and then have something at the bottom, you know, white on black or black on white in terms of the border or a banner, and then put the website across. This way, it just instantly, you see the image and boom, it hits you. And all you need to do is have people think image and where to go. And that would automatically make a more successful ad, as opposed to, you know, here's the information, because all imagery with text and everything, everything honestly is just communication, communicating images and text into information. So all of this stuff is just information for you, and you're seeing it, but at the same time you're going, okay, this looks good. But now I see the 21, I see the title, I see, you know, sexy, violent, different, you know, they're getting into that ambiguous territory again.
Right.
And
you don't want to make them search for anything.
Yeah, and you're kind of playing
there.
Where's Waldo with everything, because you're running around and there's the website in the top right. And the thing is that most people aren't going to give that time. You want it to be boom, boom, boom. Everything leads you to where it is. So think about it in terms of that, in terms of really spacing it, making it clear. Don't destroy the image. Like I said, you can shrink it and even have a top and a bottom if you wanted to, because you have a very striking image, and then you can have a top banner, a bottom banner, and then that's where the information is. Just makes it really clear. But with something like this, it is going to be difficult to lay out elements within and things like that. Let's see. Enrique says a lot of people are any to use the whole space for the ad, but they should be putting the whole ad in a small section. The rest is just gravy. The reader doesn't want to hunt for info. Yeah, and even if you look at a lot of the successful ads of back in the day too, you'd have the image, and then it's like white with like the headline, and then like a paragraph of text about what it's about. And that was all to provide this instantaneous reaction of, oh, the image caught my eye, and then boom, right there, high contrast, so you can see it nice and easy, is where the rest of that information lies for the ad. Again, like this, it's almost like you're trying too hard to work with the text with the image, and then they both end up kind of suffering from it. So yeah, when you design this one, is this one that you're going to be using on the spring campaign books?
Well, we're thinking about using it, but you're totally right. We've been having trouble trying to figure out where to put the fonts, where to put the lettering. But I do like your idea of shrinking it and then making a space for the advertisement.
Yeah, this way you really know and understand, okay, that's the title, that's the book, and then this is where I go to find out the rest. You know, the other stuff like sexy, violent, different, you're putting like a hat on a hat, because it's like you can see from the image, sexy, violent, and different. It's in the image. So you don't need to say that stuff. If you're going to say something else, make sure that it's something of importance to the customer, some kind of selling point, further than what it is when you look at that image and go, okay, this image, what does it tell me? Give something different in that description.
Yeah, that makes total sense, man.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, all this kind of stuff, it'll eventually come as second nature. Because I mean, I was total. I'm still learning. So that's the thing. But when I was starting out with a lot of this stuff too, it's garbage. It's just garbage. I look back at some of it and it's absolute garbage. I would tear me to shreds from 15, 16 years ago. I would just like, okay, you got to slow down and learn some fundamentals here. And I was still in the process of learning, and I'm still in the process of learning. So I appreciate the attitude, and hopefully also that this information does help you learn from my mistakes.
No, it's a lot of help, man. Trust me, this is great. I mean, we've been working at this advertising for a while, trying to figure it out. Seriously, man, we appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And if you ever need inspiration too for advertising, look through some comics, whether they're modern or older or whatever it may be. Honestly, I think the ads, first of all, I think everything from comics pre like 94 is a better place to look at than today.
Go to the 70s, you find some good stuff.
You'll find some real good
Fun.
it's just fun, and they tell you the product and it sells it to you. It makes it so you'll learn the copy in which to use. Copy, I mean the text, and then you'll learn the layout as well. So don't be afraid to go back in that and open some books up and get some inspiration for your ad too.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. That's great advice.
Yeah, no problem. You got anything else to show us?
Yeah, I have. I mean, I have other ads. This is the one that we're running in the City of Rot, but now that I've heard what you said, it kind of feels like I can see what you're saying, that we're putting too much.
Yeah, you don't want to put things like all over the place.
This is what we ran in the City of Rot. Is we went with this one.
Yeah.
I'll also tell you too, right off the bat, when it comes to putting white text on a black background, make sure that it's only used sparingly. Because it does become something that's more difficult to read and catch instantaneously. The contrast is there, but it's not the same kind of contrast. It's an inversion. So when you do something like this, a nice banner with the thick white letters with your website or whatever it may be, the title, that'll work. But in terms of having a lot of text on there with the black background and it's white, and it's sometimes it doesn't print that great. And then also sometimes just in catching it, the contrast isn't there as much, because if you think about even in why do people switch things to dark mode nowadays? It's because it's easier on the eyes. Right. And easier on the eyes means you don't want to notice it. You pass it up, and you don't want people to pass up your ad. So you want to make sure you hit them with a brighter color and dark text to make that contrast and put that on there. So with something like this, just right off the bat, it's quite a bit of text to read that's not really helping with the images, and never put red on black either. When you put red on black, it becomes very difficult to read, because as it prints, especially in a 4-color process, you're having all 4 colors go into the black, and then you have the red there. And what happens is there's going to be a little bit of bleed between the black and the red. And that's going to create this weird kind of fuzziness when you read it. And it might look great on your monitor, but once it prints, because you could try printing this out at home, you're going to see what I mean, that it's like, oh, that red kind of starts to get lost a little bit.
Yeah, it gets muddy.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay.
And then you got lazy readers like me that's just too much text. I'm not reading all that. So
yeah, no one's going to
be
like,
guy,
let me really, and especially then if you have a font like this that's very fun and creative, and it's not just straightforward, it's going to become even more of a task to read it. Like I know people who commented a lot, and I hated it as well when I saw it. I didn't buy the book, but I think it was the Batman Who Laughs or whatever. The text would always be like red and black or something like that.
Gotcha. And
it would be red text and the black, and it's a nightmare to read it. And you'd figure, at that level, someone somewhere would catch that and go, guys, no. we could do a red balloon with black text. We could do red text and a white balloon. But this red and the black, it's like I've seen blue, which is even worse. Blue text and on a black background.
Yeah, it hurts.
Good luck. So yeah, you want to make sure. Don't try to do stuff like that because it'll become a pain in print to read it. Even if it looks great on the monitor, print it out at home and you'll see what I mean.
Okay, yeah, well, definitely. I did not know that. That's great to know.
Yeah. Past Master says, yeah, red and blue screw with the eye. So you really want to make sure that whatever it is up against in the contrasting color, that really has a separation there. Otherwise, especially with black on a background, it's going to be pretty difficult to make it out.
Yeah, okay. No, that's good to know. Seriously, that's...
Yeah, no problem. Eric says less is more, but the gun pointing out is eye-catching. Yeah, that's a nice big image I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Blow up that image with the, and then he's saying something in a word balloon,
Buy my book.
Yeah, to the reader, essentially like that, and then it's like the title and where to go.
Yeah, that's great. It's just I try to put so much information, and yeah, now I see what you're talking about. It just looks so congested.
Let's see. Kurt Mudgeon says scroll in a bit. So zoom in a little bit, I guess. Let's see.
Is there a particular part to scroll into or just scroll in?
Possibly they maybe wanted to see it because of it might have been a little too far away to read. So it says alone on a strange world where it's easier than ever to attract unwanted attention. Our heroes must face a new ungodly horror. Social media.
Boom. So that one image with the gun guy and then all those words right there. Done.
Yeah.
Let's see. This time the fur is gonna fly. Yeah, and then you have a lot of that image with the text there. It's a lot, So yeah, really make it that and look at it through the lens of step away from it and look at it through the lens of you as a potential buyer of this product. So if you were to see this ad from somebody else, do you instantly look at it and you get hooked? And really be honest with yourself. Separate yourself a bit from it. Try to get in the mindset of no one's familiar with this. I don't know about this. I don't know this thing. And just look at it the way it's set up and think, okay, is this selling me on trying to find out more, trying to read more, trying to go to the website it wants me to go to. And then you'll find a lot of the answers within yourself. I mean, you already know what looks good.
You're right. I mean, I probably would just be like, that's too much to read and just move on. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
No, I see it. It's just funny that didn't see it before, but now that you're mentioning it, it's like, yeah, it's way too much on here.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that all you guys got the answers. You already know the information. I'm just being Captain Obvious here, but sometimes that's what you need. You need like that second set of eyes or whatever, because you have those little doubts and you're like, I don't know though. Is that right? Listen to those doubts. Listen to that. That's your gut telling you, hey, I gotta tweak this, and listen to yourself.
Yeah, you're right. Because it's always like, am I putting too much or not enough? And it's hard to gauge in between of what's too much and what's too little.
Yeah. So Kurt Mudgeon, and I think we're all agreeing too with this. Honestly, no offense meant here. The guy with the gun is the only image that really tells me anything. The art is good enough. And exactly, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Blow that image up a bit. Have him saying something. It could be something that of what you're saying here with the text, but instead of having it come from like a third person narration, have it come from him saying it.
Yeah, no, it makes. I can see how that would be a lot cooler. I mean, that'd be a lot more fun to look at.
Yeah. It has that interaction then with the audience and the character.
Dynamic in your face.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I should have went with that.
Yeah, no problem.
Now I want to see that. You got to do it. I want to.
Yeah, see it I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna come back next week. I'm gonna show you some revamped of this and see what you guys think.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by with these. I hope that a lot of this has helped you out. It seems like it has, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of the revisions you do with your stuff. And then if you do take out advertising in the future with us or anybody else, hopefully it creates a more impactful kind of image and presence for your stuff, which leads to then hopefully readers as well.
No, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Take it easy, buddy.
You too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Some really good stuff there. It's just,
Yeah.
got to make sure you have that focal point.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I research whenever I'm trying to do something new. I'll go research all the things, but it's hard because there's so much out there. So I get it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I find too is people most of the time when they come on this show, especially, it'll be like, yeah, I did think something was off about that. I did think, this and this, everything we're saying, it does speak to them. But I think for some reason, people don't have as much faith in themselves as they do with someone else that they think, well, they know more than me. If they say it, then okay, I'll do it. And we all experience that. I've experienced that before too. But listen to yourself. Listen to that gut instinct you have that's just telling you this ain't right. I gotta tweak this. I gotta change this.
Right. And I always love a fresh pair of eyes because when you're so close to something, sometimes you can't see things. Even with my art, I'm like, man, somebody else has got to look at this because somebody will see something that you don't see, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I was just about to click on. Did Allison leave? Allison might have left. Allison, if you're there, come back. I was literally just about. I had the mouse right over the image. Hopefully you come back and we can see what you've got today as well. But yeah, so I hope that anybody watching this that has any questions about their own work or has any kind of doubts or anything like that, and you've got that intuition in you already, And Allison, hey, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
I was hoping we didn't lose you. I was like, oh no, I was literally about to click on it, and then
I had
went away.
My Chrome decided that it didn't want to share out my screen, so I had to reboot
Oh,
everything
okay.
with it. So.
Gotcha. All right.
Thanks, Chrome.
Yeah, it's Chrome. Might use Safari instead next time. But but this is what we were looking at last time when I was just out of the hospital. And what I did was I changed the logo color, and then I brought the character down like you had suggested. I agree. I think it looks a lot better. Got a clearer shot on the character and everything, and I think the logo is better, easier to see right now.
Yeah, definitely.
And I still kept kind of the gradient to pull it into the shadow. So
yeah, it's definitely looking better. I would still. I don't know if I would. Can you take the gradient out? Is that easy to do right now?
I have to open up in Photoshop and do it, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see the gradient out.
I just have to change the
And
gradient.
then,
It has a map on it, and I just have to change it. So
Yeah. But it's definitely better than before because before the logo was getting lost, I think it was practically black. It was dark. I know
it
that.
was a lot darker. Now this is the logo itself, how it is, just regular, and this has the gradient on it.
Okay.
So I think it's the
Yeah, I think if the cover is if you have eventually a brighter cover, I think you can go back and then use this one. So like, don't delete this one. But I think depending upon the cover that you have, yeah, you definitely want to get in there and tweak it as to the needs of the cover image itself.
I know I had to turn down the brightness on my screen because it was, once you start printing things, they're always darker because your screen on your tablet or your computer's so bright. It brightens everything up so much.
unless it's mine, and then I put it all the way down, and then I'm like, I see something like this, and I'm like, I don't know, is it still? But for this show, I changed my settings and I put them back again.
It confused me because I started printing things, and I was like, wow, this is really dark.
Yeah, I mean, even right there, that really helps. And if you made that gradient shadow that's on it, on the her and the shadow, if you made that a little bit lighter, I think it would really help with the rest of that layout, only for that specific cover. Because again, if you have a cover that has a brighter background, it's different. Then you can make that logo a little bit darker to have that contrast.
I can pull that back and change things with it. That's
nice and easy.
That's simple stuff to do, which I will do later.
All right. So you said you had changed the first image, the first page.
Oh yeah. Give me 1 sec.
Oh, a lot better. Oh yeah, way better. Yeah. So you're still in the process, obviously, of finalizing everything on here.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the pose is better. The elements of the lettering is way better. Oh yeah.
I like those trees. I like foliage.
Thanks. No, they're fun to do.
Yeah, it's a much more powerful image. Before it was kind of like this unsure, kind of the awkward angle, and I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys remember this from last week, if anyone's watching, but it kind of had it where he almost looks like he should be talking to something that was in the lower left.
Yeah, now he's talking directly to.
But now it's just like it's coming down, and it's a much more powerful image.
Yeah, I have to go through and still like darken some of the lines and pop him out a bit more. But yeah, he's
Yeah. So with the lettering here, I would suggest having connecting tails from the top balloon to then the second and third.
Okay.
So don't just have them all pointing at him, and then you can have that one on the right, that top one. That's fine, but then a swooping connecting.
Oh,
tail
I see. Have it so it goes to
around
like that, then that goes to there, and then
that like that.
back to
Yeah.
there. Okay, no, that's easy to do. That's simple. It's one of the things I like about Clip Studio. That stuff's simple.
Yeah. But no, this is a way better composition and a way more imposing first page, especially, which is good.
Thank you. And then I have this stuff, which I'm working on with it. I can't remember if there's really any. Oh, yes, you wanted me to flip him, so I did.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, now it leads you right into the rest of that. That's great. Yeah.
Was he flipped around the other direction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. So I did that, and I haven't made adjustments on this yet. I was going to pull this forward a bit more and put it more so it's bigger.
All right, good. Yeah.
I still haven't even. I was going to be adding in more people into the scene. That's why I did it set back. I just haven't done it yet. So, let's see. That's blank, and this is the last page I was working on, which finished this up down here. But I'm still doing the other stuff first before I go through and do the out the fights and stuff.
Let's see. And Kurt Mudgeon says maybe change. I think talking about the
logo
still.
Yeah.
Maybe change that stroke around the letters to a lighter color and thinking of. Yeah, you could see that too. You could definitely see how that works. And then Infinity says maybe make the A smaller up top and then lower the name a bit so it's not on top of the gray. So of the A.
This part.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, maybe make that A a little smaller too.
Okay, well, that's easy to do. The A is actually, it's a combination of a font and, well, I changed it anyway, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's drawn in, so.
But you know you're getting there, though, when it's like splitting hairs time. Because these are splitting hairs, so that's good.
Mm-hmm. I'm really fairly confident about my art. I mean, I like the idea. The pose you pointed out, I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. And I just changed it.
Yeah.
So, flipping the guy, I'm like, yeah, that works. So yeah, I'm just working things through. I'm always looking for feedback on stuff because I want to get this to the point where it's definitely publishable and looks really good.
Yeah. And then with your name, take out the by, put Allison McClone, and then maybe left or the right,
Mm-hmm.
But either one, honest, I would go with left, bottom left, just because there's slightly more negative space with the
over here.
Yeah, over there.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, it's coming along. So well, thanks for showing what you had today, and I'm glad to see that first page it's night and day compared to what you had previously. Do you have the previous one anywhere that you could show nice and quick or no?
Yeah, definitely. Give me a sec.
Yeah, I'd love to see the comparison.
No problem.
Yeah, because this has way more of an iconic feel to it too.
Well, I appreciate that. I was thinking, I wanted everything to look kind of iconic in that sense, so I was definitely open to changing things.
Yeah.
You're like, no, it doesn't pop.
Especially opening splash pages, opening and closing, but opening in particular, you almost want to treat it as if you're making a posterable image. Like someone could cut this out, blow it up, and it's a cool poster. Every single opening splash page, if you have that in mind when you do one of those anyway, it'll steer you down a better direction. Really make it memorable.
Okay, give me a second. I just found it. So. Okay. So that was the original.
Yeah.
And I completely agree. I think that the
Okay.
new is a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely better.
I'm definitely having fun with it. So that's one big thing.
I love the cape action too. It's getting caught in the wind as he's coming down. That's really great.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, I have this thing about drawing capes the way Todd McFarlane did. So
Yeah, they're fun.
I just kind of look at it like, if McFarlane drew it that way, I like it, so I'm doing it that way. So
Yeah. Not like it's just kind of a towel, you know,
Exactly.
but it's like a big billowing,
And when
it's got a life of its
stab
own.
you. Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, I went even more with the cape on the new thing because I'm just gonna go all out with it. So
That's great. And Miss Rena, yeah, you can share a campaign draft and get feedback. Okay, so we're gonna be I love seeing all this, Allison. Really appreciate you stopping by.
no problem.
And I'm gonna be moving on to the next guest,
Oh,
but
definitely.
please come back, and I want to see where you're headed with some more of this.
Oh, excellent. Thank you very
Looks
much.
great.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I really appreciate it. All right. Bye, guys. No, thank you, Sheldon.
All right.
Bye.
Take it easy. All right, and yeah, I agree. The cape definitely looks cooler than the first attempt. That thing has a life of its own now, which is great. All right, up next we've got Pedro. What's up, Pedro?
Hi, Pedro. Hi, Mom. Yeah, my mom said. No, go on.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, it's me again. I'm in the middle of the campaign for Tropical Magics, but
Okay.
that's not what I'm bringing today. This is the second book I'm working on since Tropical Magics is already finished, and I just want you to tell me if I'm nuts. Okay, so let me just share my screen right now. Here I go.
And also, Miss Rena, I see you in the green room. Thank you. We'll be with Pedro for about 10 minutes, and then we'll be with you.
Yeah, this is going to be really quick. It's mostly concept art, and I started with the sequentials, but I can see this. The book is called Sons of Athair, and it's my attempt of doing Lord of the Rings, but in the 18th century, and with my favorite fantasy characters, dwarves.
I like it.
Yeah, so it's a mix between Kelly's Heroes and Lord of the Rings, basically. So it's more like militaristically oriented, and this is basically really inspired on Band of Brothers and whatnot.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, well, thanks. Thank you. So these are like concept art. They fight against flying goblins. So this is like the Red Baron.
Nice.
They're goblins, but they're French. So it's like Faubin Le Rouge, and Gavin Le Petit Pois, Sylvain Le Paon, Luc Sac-Wonder, and Alain Le Mouette. Yeah, so this is the city of Evanhammer, like the capital of the Dwarven Kingdom. And I'm using like 18th century like aesthetics, but taking into account that dwarves are very industrious. Like they have like flying. This is a dwarven parachute. This is basically a hammer that crashes on the ground. But they have like flying. I'm missing words now. Sorry, I'm very tired. They have like flying stuff and bikes and
like a ship. Is that the
Yeah.
word you're looking for?
yeah, like blimps basically. Like
Oh,
blimp
okay.
technology.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so
Yeah, it's almost like some kind of futuristic chariot, like a self-driving chariot with
Yeah.
pincers. You're always so good with. You should be like a toy designer, man.
I know
Okay.
these
You're
are
always-
fun.
So good with the designs of vehicles and everything like that.
yeah. Oh,
Very
thank you,
cool.
man.
I'd play with all these. Yep.
So onward with the sequentials. Like I'm already on page 25, but it's only on layouts. But this is not final colors, but yeah, this is basically them going on a mission. There's going to be a lot of narration.
Okay.
Because-
Okay. The one thing I'll say to you now,
Sure.
I have no ground to critique anything that you're doing with vehicles. Your vehicles are great.
Mhm.
For your characters, I would definitely suggest working on keeping proportions more consistent. Because sometimes they'll look like tiny full-size people, and then sometimes they'll look like dwarves, and then sometimes they'll look like kids with beards, and then sometimes
yeah,
so
gotcha.
so that's something to really think about. Think about
Yeah.
do your dwarves have really think, do they have larger heads, larger hands,
Mhm.
larger feet,
Yeah.
but smaller, stouter, everything else?
Mhm,
Are they
mhm.
more compact? Are they broader? And then kind of stay consistent among that character design. And then for
Yes,
your
yes, yes.
coloring, and this is a personal aesthetic for me, but I've
Mhm.
seen a lot of people reiterate this kind of a thing. When
Mhm.
it comes to digital coloring,
Yeah.
try to stick more towards just using like 2 or 3 tone flats as
Mhm.
opposed to
Okay.
like gradients and things like that in there,
Okay.
because sometimes with gradients and then like the dodge and the blur and those kind of tools in Photoshop,
Mhm.
that kind of a thing,
Mhm.
sometimes you end up muddying a lot of
Yeah.
the great line work
Gotcha.
you have.
Okay.
So yeah, try not to go into it like that, because I think your art, I think, would really sing with like
Mm.
2 or 3 tone, like almost like a cell shading kind of look to it, as
Okay.
opposed to getting gradients and stuff like that in there.
Okay. I see. And yeah, it's gonna be violent. People are gonna lose their heads, and I don't know. Like,
Pedrino says your dwarfs versus my dwarfs, Pedro. Crossover
yeah,
now.
yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it, Pedrino. Let's go to war. So
Let's see. Oh, Infinity said that there was there's a gray box with yellow text. Where was that? I think I was lost in the other stuff. I must not have seen that.
gray box with yellow text.
Was there a gray box with yellow text on the cover,
No.
or oh, maybe I wonder if Infinity might be a little bit behind on the
Yeah,
on the feed.
probably because there's no text here.
Yeah, because
Maybe
now he's talking and saying, "Hey, Pedro." So
yeah.
I think make sure to hit live,
Uh-huh.
Alejandro. All right, because I was like, I don't think I saw that. I think I would have said something about that. Yeah, definitely don't put yellow text on on a gray box. And if
Yeah,
Allison had that, that's easy to correct.
Yeah, that's nuts. So yeah, like I'm trying to incorporate more like blacks into the art, and this is a JPEG, because I mean for navigational purposes, because these files are pretty big,
Okay.
so it'll get
Yeah,
like pixelated a bit. But
is there a way to take the color off and I could see your line art?
sure, let me find that page.
I don't know if that's on a separate layer or anything like that.
No, let me find on here. Okay, see, so it takes sweetest time to open.
Because I feel like your art would really benefit from having more like
a flat
coloring.
approach.
Yeah, a flat approach and coloring like the mood of a scene, as opposed to aiming for this kind of realism. Because like in that bottom panel, it's getting lost. All that detail is just getting lost.
Gotcha. Let me just take out. So this is flat. It's the flat art.
Yeah, I'd like to see, and I don't know why there's such a tendency nowadays to do flats like in the mid-tone, and then people come in with a highlight and a low light. I think that's what leads to the overuse of a lot of Photoshop tools. But just go for the highlight, and then like just every single color being the most pure version of that color you can have, and then go for shading, with a darker version of that color. And instead of going for, it takes a little longer, but you'll have way better results, and it lets that line art really sing instead of it getting lost in the mix.
I'm finding the color here. Okay, here's the color.
Oh yeah, see, like look at all that work you did, and I'm not seeing any of that on the colors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But if you were to have it more of this approach with the flats and brighter colors, think about the brightness, because then you can always go in there making it darker. Then you can have that line work really shine.
Those are
as
great
opposed
inks.
to and it gets so lost with that the gradient colors and the digital stuff, all of that.
Gotcha. Now I'm missing a panel. Where is that panel?
Well, just don't save and you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the birds stole it.
Yeah. Oh no, that's cicada season here. Sorry for the feedback. Just insects are having sex. There's not much I can do.
Well, it's the feedback form. It's the perfect place for that.
That's
feedback.
right.
Yeah, exactly. So
even the cicadas agree.
Yeah. Let me just close this because I don't want to lose a panel. not really. So let me see. I have another one. This is another page, and this is basically the line art. Well, the inks basically.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely give it an approach with the flats. And not like mid-tone flats. As bright as you can take it in your coloring, and then go in there with a little shadow here in terms of the color, not a shadow that's black, but in terms of like if it's a light blue, give it a mid to darker blue as the shadow, that kind of a thing. And I think that art will really start to pop, and it'll just automatically convey fun. My favorite colorist of all time in comics is Glynis Oliver. Sometimes she's credited as Glynis Wein because she used to be married to Len Wein. So when you look at a lot of the stuff that she colored, and she colored a lot of books.
I'm taking notes now.
Especially in like the 70s, 80s, but the 80s in particular, when color separation started to get a bit better, and not quite as just, a flat one color and that's it, but they could actually put some tones in there too. It's really, really great stuff, especially when she's coloring on top of certain artists as well who do amazing line art. So look into that. There's a lot of books, especially at Marvel, from that time period.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I'll check that out. So
yeah, I think if you look at that coloring, I think you put it to your art, I think it'll be a whole other level, other level for you.
Oh, that's good news. I'm all about those levels. Thank you so much, PJ. I don't want to take that much from your time because this is not really a finished product, and I know people are coming with more finished stuff. So thank you so much. You gave me a lot to think about, and back Tropical Magics. We're in the last 17 days, and we're coming out with this next book. It's called Sons of Ether. It's going to be a lot of fun. So
awesome,
thank you so much, and I keep on working, man.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Pedro. Have a great one, buddy.
Thank you, man.
All right, and
coloring's hard.
Yeah,
you've seen my colors. It's tough.
Well, you get better and better at it.
It's a whole nother beast.
You're not that bad to begin with, but you're getting better and better with it.
And I didn't understand anything you said. That's why I was like, uh-oh.
Well, then you start taking notes too, Kier.
I'm in trouble because I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, goodness. All right. We have our next and final guest. That would be Miss Rena. What's up, Miss Rena?
Hello, Pete. How you doing?
Hey, thank you for being patient and waiting today. Save the best for last, I suppose, right?
Ooh.
Yeah.
So what have you got for us?
I have my campaign draft. Sorry, I'm on my phone. You might have to share it.
Let's see. The draft link. Hopefully it leads me to it. Sometimes the draft. Okay, there it is. Sometimes the draft it's a bit of a pain. It'll be the other link for the other thing, and then it pops up that only you can really see it. But here we are. We can see it. Great.
Yeah, this is my Black Rhapsody campaign draft. I wanted your feedback on the story, some of the text, specifically the entire. In fact, I shouldn't say that. The story overview, as well as the character blurbs that I had created, because someone told me that my story overview needed to be rephrased.
Okay, need to be rephrased. All right. So you mean in the description of the campaign?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so it's Black Rhapsody Part 1, musical, magical girls, battle Lovecraftian, Beyonce, and her cult for the fate of the world. I would leave Beyonce out of it completely.
Okay, I'll change that.
Yeah, you definitely, you don't want to undersell your character. And also, you don't want Beyonce to be like, what the hell now?
I'm suing you. Yeah.
You're going to use me to sell your thing?
Yes, you have a point.
Yeah. So you never want to use that. I've seen people even say things like, in the description, it's Batman meets Spider-Man. And this is don't do that. Just talk about your character. Don't undersell yourself. So that's an easy fix, though. So that's good. Let's see here. So Black Rhapsody Part 1 is a 35-plus page black and white comic in manga size. Let's see here. Written and created by... I'm going to do a quick rundown of just taking a scroll through. So you're going to have, I'm guessing you're going to have images in the perk sections for each perk?
Yeah, I just need someone to help me with graphics.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because definitely get images in everything, at least that you can get. And make sure that those are clear and concise as well. Let's see. Story. then characters and sample pages. I personally like seeing sample pages with lettering. If you can get sample pages with lettering, I think that would really help you out.
I can't because some of the pages are still being worked on
Okay.
as of right now. Some of them need to be like revised.
I know a lot of people don't tend to put sample pages with lettering, but I've backed a couple of campaigns that I'm personally not backing anymore because I'll see the lettering, and unless I know the letterer, the lettering will completely ruin the art, and then it creates an unreadable mess. And that's me.
I understand. It's just that
So
as of right now, I'm focusing on getting my artists getting the pages done. Then we do the lettering when all the pages are completed.
okay. Well, think about if you can get at least one of these sample pages lettered, that would really go a long way. Because even though, I mean, I know you want to get whatever done with the art, it'd be great to show the backer, okay, this is an example of what the lettering is going to look like on the page itself. But that's minor stuff. You can take care of that whenever. Let's see. Story says Black Rhapsody takes place in an urban fantasy world with a strong focus on matriarchal myths and legends. In the modern age, religious worship has fallen out of relevance among the younger generations, who now turn to pop stars and celebrities for guidance and inspiration. This new form of belief, as well as insidious machinations, has allowed an ancient evil to rise to power in the form of famous singer Dulcibella. Once an eldritch goddess of darkness, now one of the country's top-ranking pop stars, Dulcibella has her eyes set on more than just one measly country. With the help of her growing cult, Dulcibella plans to take the world for herself, and the only ones standing in her way are a group of magical girls, all of whom are inspired from different music genres, blessed with the powers of the goddesses of old. These girls are the world's only hope at stopping. Just make sure to correct that if you use this still.
Okay.
You need the two P's. This eldritch being, but can they survive long enough to accumulate a fan base, or are they dead on arrival? The music industry can be so cutthroat. So I would lead with the music industry can be so cutthroat. That's your headline.
Nice.
All right.
Oh,
So yeah, not story. It would just be the music industry can be so cutthroat. Big, right? Then you're talking about the rest of the paragraph here. Now it does seem a bit wordy. It doesn't seem a bit like it gets to the point of things. I think that you could do a little bit of revision, not a lot. It just needs a little bit of tweaking here and there to get more to the point of the character and what they're going through.
Okay. So you want me to take the music industry, so replace story, the word story, with the blurb, right?
Yeah. Because that'll just, attention right off the bat. And then Black Rhapsody takes place, and then you can go on with that. As you write it, though, make sure when there's certain characters or the story title, anything that to you screams important, bold that. Because this way, someone who even just scrolls through, because there's going to be people that are just like, I like this art, this looks good, I'm going to scroll through, and you see certain things. They see certain things here and there, they pop out. Don't go crazy with it. Only things that are very key and important to you, and words, not necessarily sentences. And then bold those things. So I would bold Dulcibella, I would bold Black Rhapsody, and so on and so forth. This way, someone that just scrolls through, sees it, picks up on it. It's kind of the same methodology of the advertising when I was talking to Abominable Grizzly earlier. So with this, I would definitely say, in terms of revising the story part, definitely figure out, what's the core of the story. So the premise, 2 sentences, and then the conflict of the story, another 2 or 3 sentences. And then that's that. And then
basically a short paragraph.
Yeah. So if the whole thing was within at most 5 to 7 sentences, that's definitely more of a sweet spot for when you're describing the story. And honestly, I've seen people that it's like a whole page. So it's not like you're really far away from that. This is, again, it's just splitting hairs and getting it down to the core of what it is. So it's not too much work. It's just a revision of what you think is the
Yeah,
most
so
important
just
stuff.
decrease the story overview and
Yeah.
just read. Okay, I understand now.
Yeah. And again, this is the thing for me. I love seeing stuff that's more focused on the character. So, getting to know the character and what they're about, as opposed to story and plot elements. That stuff is secondary to me. Just a quick 2 sentences for the rest of the plot. But as far as the character and their whole thing, what are they about? That's always more important to me, because then that determines whether or not I actually want to read this story. Because if I'm not really into the character, I don't care if the plot is great. I don't care. I need to be into the character on some level, feel like there's a hook to the character, and then, all right, I'll read the rest of the story and be on this journey with them. Think about it like, you're getting in a car with this individual, and they're going to take you on a journey. You're not going to die or nothing. They're not going to do anything bad to you. But if this person seems like someone you just really don't want to sit in that car with them for 8 hours, you're not going to get in the car. But if that person's like, oh man, this person seems fun and fascinating and friendly, or whatever it may be that you're trying to convey, they're interesting. Yeah, you'll sit in that car for 8 hours and let's go on this journey. So that's that kind of mindset you want to put forth in describing the story and the characters and things like that.
Okay.
So let's see. Scrolling down here, you got the character art, which is great. That's
Someone
always
told
good
me
to see.
to have it be refined to make it look like a
Oh.
fashion magazine, but that's too much time that could be devoted to working on the comic pages.
No, this is fine. Yeah, this is definitely good. Now, something that just jumped out to me, you mentioned Dulcibella here a bunch, but then we start right off the bat with Alethea.
Okay.
There's no mention of Alethea here. So you don't need to necessarily mention Alethea, but if Alethea is integral to the story, if there's like a protagonist and an antagonist and they're the main characters, make sure you mention that character as well. Otherwise, definitely your lead character, lead off with the lead. So Dulcibella then would be the top if that's the main character of the story. So she's the antagonist. So she's not the protagonist, which is interesting. So it centers more around the villain of the story. Is that true?
No, it centers around the protagonist of the story.
Oh, okay. Well, then you definitely have to mention Alethea. You have to mention
I'm writing
Alethea
that
here.
down now.
Yeah. So if Dulcibella, the story does not really necessarily center around her, and she's the conflict element, make sure that you're mentioning who's responsible and who we're following along. So if we're really following along Alethea and her journey, and we're kind of rooting against Dulcibella, make sure you're leading with Alethea. I thought it was a story about Dulcibella, and it was more like a villain's tale, which is interesting too. But that's what I thought that it was about.
Okay, I really have to repurpose that story overview now, because it's actually, yeah, it's about the heroes of the story, not about not villain story. Yeah,
Okay.
I see what you mean. I'm writing that down now.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I'm glad that you came on the show. Let's see. So the protagonist of Black Rhapsody, Alethea, is a rebellious and foul-mouthed teen from the hood of New Amsterdam. What started out as an opportunity to showcase her talents to a major record label turns into a living nightmare for Alethea, as she must now fight for her very life. So Dulcibella here, the major antagonist of Black Rhapsody, an ancient eldritch goddess turned pop star. She is the country's #1 pop sensation and wishes to remain so. Dulcibella is a prideful woman whose ego matches her vast dark powers. Unlike most deities, she is quick to anger and seldom... I think most deities are quick to anger. They always seem to be doing something to humanity at the slightest whim, and seldom forgives, as our heroine Alethea is about to find out. So I mean, your character descriptions are pretty good too, but yeah, again, definitely if Alethea is the star essentially of the book, make sure don't bury the star. If Alethea was real, she'd be pissed about that.
You're right.
Let's see here. So she'd be like, "Oh, I see how it is. All right, exactly. Sample pages. So you have those. The art
my artist is still working on some pages, so I'm going to add more once she gets it to me this weekend.
Okay. So now
So
when you say pages are still a work in progress, what's going to be different?
no, she's gonna give me some more. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I misheard your question. I plan on revising it slightly to add more detail if necessary.
Oh, okay. You're playing a dangerous game, and I'll tell you this, and this is why I always encourage getting finalized. This is going to print kind of pages onto the campaign, because if someone sees this and loves it, and then they get the book and they're like, "Wait, what did you do?
What happened?
What did you do? Like, why did you change this and put too much detail here?" Because I know everyone hears detail. Oh, detail is always great. Detail, detail, detail. Sometimes too much detail kills the image. It kills the energy. And that might be the thing that's selling the book is the energy that they're seeing, and you're allowing the image to breathe. So when you start over detailing, it could be very, very bad. So I would
I
definitely suggest putting as final, if not final, pages on here as much as you can.
Oh, so you want me to change that blurb or get rid of it?
Yeah, either change if these pages to you are great. These are set. They just got to get lettered, let's say. Just put, pages still need to be lettered, but otherwise these are final images. Otherwise, if they are truly still a work in progress, I would definitely think about putting finalized pages on here or finalizing these pages because they're great pages. I don't know what else you would change about the art at
Yeah,
this
they look
point.
great.
Yeah. Because if you told me like, oh, this page is going to be more detailed, I'm like, but where?
Where?
Oh
Where are you
yeah,
gonna put?
You know,
yeah.
It's
I kind of get like a bit of contradictory information. Well, I have been told by people that I needed to revise certain pages to add more detail and add more of a background. Not these pages, but some others that I've been given by my artist. It's
okay.
just that I want the best quality for my backers.
Okay. Well, yeah, anything that you show, if you showed stuff that you're perfectly happy with, that this is not a work in progress, because I read that and I go, oh, these pages are a work in progress. They may look different. I'm like, what else are you coloring it? I mean, obviously you need to letter it, but I would think these look done to me.
Yeah, looks good to me.
Yeah, so think about that, and in some ways too, also think about the fact if someone is saying, "Oh, well, these pages they need more background, they need this and that." I've had this talk with Kier even, where I'm like, "I got to letter this thing, so don't drive yourself nuts." Because what you might do painstakingly in the background,
Yeah,
I'm
it
gonna
gets
put
covered
a
up.
big old balloon on that, and then you just were like, "Oh,
It needs more
wonderful."
stuff. It needs more.
So
Yeah,
don't be afraid to have that kind of a thing.
no, I understand. It's just that I've just been told by other people that certain pages didn't have like a fully developed background.
Okay. Do you have any example of those pages to show?
Um, no, not only,
Okay.
not only.
All right. Well, I'll take what they're saying with a grain of salt, but depending upon what it looks like, they may be correct, or they may not be anticipating the fact that lettering will most likely be in that spot. And again, like I just said before, if you have overly detailed art and then you put the lettering there, you're going to start struggling with placement, and it's going to create this very awkward scenario where everything feels cramped and it feels like the energy is lost and the piece is now stagnant and there's no movement anymore on the page. So depending upon the page, and again, look at it for yourself and make that determination. But you want to make sure that, like on something like this, I can see where you're going to letter. There's space for that. There's space for that on this. These pages look really good. If there's similar pages that are like this and they're saying, oh, they need more of this and more of that, think about the fact that you're going to be lettering them. If it's just like heads with, in voids, and it's like there's just nothing anymore to it other than that, then they can have a point there. But again, it really depends on what the tone is of the page and what you're going to be lettering on it. Let's see.
Oh,
So you got
okay.
perks. But yeah, if these are finalized though, again, don't put that these are going to be different. Just you could put, these pages still need to be lettered, but are otherwise final. Put something like that. And again, if they do need to be changed and they do need to be finalized, and they're definitely not going to go to print that way, try to get something together that's going to be as close to print ready, as close to final product ready as possible.
Okay.
Let's see. So you got prints here. Now this is a lot of real estate for this print.
I
All
know.
right.
Nice.
So with this, you could literally just show, one thing, and put like this version of it and make it smaller, and then that version make it small, and then the other version make it smaller, and then have the detail of what'll be unlocked and when. Because when it comes to a campaign, you want to make sure that the most real estate given really is towards the big focal point, the big seller, and that's your book. So you don't want to bury the book in 60% of it is the poster and the prints, and then like 20% of it is sample pages, and then the remaining 20% is character images, text here and there. You want to make sure that the hero of the piece is indeed your book, and everything about that. So
Okay,
just something
so
to make sure with that.
minimize the poster and pinup prints.
Yeah, because even though this might be eye catching to people and whatnot, it's at the end of the day it's inconsequential, and I'm not trying to say that don't have it or it's not important or anything like that, but it's yeah.
Yeah, I need graphics to kind of put all those images into one.
So you don't have who's putting your campaign together actually?
Myself.
Okay. So you don't have any kind of graphic software or anything like that you can put together. You're getting the graphics from someone else and then you're placing them. Is that how it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a graphic design person, unfortunately.
That makes it a little tougher, in some ways a lot tougher. So I sympathize, but at the same time, make sure that you're able to do something along those lines, because it could be the difference between your campaign. You got a $5,000 goal. It could be the difference between your campaign reaches 5,000 to 7,000, or does your campaign make 25,000 to 30,000 or more, by having that more concise presentation. It's just something to think about with that. Let's
Okay.
see.
I saw other creators do something similar to me and were able to reach success.
That what they had what?
They had similar structure and layout to my campaign.
Mhm.
Were able to reach success, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of creators that do things differently, and then it's all in the promotion too. So it's that kind of a thing. Let's see. The Sin Killer says, "Greetings, sinners. Just got home from work. I have a couple pages to show, but maybe it's too late." Yeah, unfortunately, it's too late today. We're going a little bit over with Miss Rena here, but we're going to be
sorry.
wrapping up. It's okay. We're going to be wrapping up the show shortly in a bit. Antoine Dennison, what's up? We just showed your ad earlier. You may dig the feedback that we gave for your ad. Really nice ad. Let's see. Enrique says, an improved page may not seem like an improvement to a backer that already liked the unfinished version. Exactly. Yeah. So you want to make sure, think about it in that respect, where this is something that someone might see that and go, "Oh, I really like that, and that's why I'm backing it." And then all of a sudden it changes over time, or worse, when they get the final product and then they're like, "The hell is this? I didn't back this." And then it's like, "Oh, it said it didn't work." And okay. And then it's just a bummer of an experience. So that's why I say make sure to get something. Everything that you show, it's like at a restaurant. You ever go to a restaurant and then they put all kinds of weird crap on the plate that you're not supposed to eat, and you're like, "Why don't you give me food I'm supposed to eat?" Yeah, it's that kind of a thing of like, "Oh, well, you're not. It's just there because it looks better." It's like, looks better. I'm eating. I want to eat food that's on the plate. This is taking up real estate on my plate that you could have put food here.
Garnish.
Yeah, so it feels like that weird garnish and stuff like that. So it's that kind of a thing when it comes to showing something that, yes, you want this to be a feast for the eyes for that backer, that everything they see here is 100%. This is what they're getting. This is what it is. Otherwise, it's almost better to not even show it at all, and just say, this is what you're going to get, and then it's a surprise for them. But I mean, never make it a surprise on the book. But if it's like a perk, that's like a bonus add-on or something like that. But when it comes to the actual book, definitely definitely make sure that you're putting stuff out there that's finalized. Let's see. Antoine says, Miss Rena, what's here looks good. Yeah, exactly. Like this stuff looks great. I don't know what else would be done to these particular pages. Even if you have ones that to you are still works in progress, what is being shown here looks fantastic. And I think people really like it.
If you want, I can send you the page that I thought someone thought was a bit incomplete or needed to be worked on, and then on Twitter.
Okay, yeah, if you can do that, send that to me, and then I'll just give you a quick, oh, okay, yeah, I see what you mean, or I'll be like, I don't know what they're talking about. So, yeah, if you do need a separate opinion for just a second, please feel free to DM that to me. But yeah, so other than that, work on the focus with the character, especially Alethea. She's the main character. Make sure you mention and talk about her. You can mention Dulcibella, and you should mention Dulcibella, but I know she's not the hero in here, but she shouldn't be the hero of the description of the story. So that's probably the biggest thing. And then other than that, making sure you got your graphics, making sure you got the graphics for your perks. That's one of the biggest things I like about Indiegogo compared to Kickstarter. And then making sure that you're also leading with, I would put, do you have the cover image finalized?
Yeah, it's in the sample pages.
Okay, make sure you, if that's, see sample page, don't put the cover in the sample pages. Goodness.
That's the first thing I want to see.
Yeah,
Cover.
make sure you put that cover, boom, right there, with the whole Black Rhapsody. This is the description of what the book is, who's on it, etc. Make sure you put that cover image there. And then, because the cover is not a sample page. So just even that kind of a thing. It's little tweaks, but that kind of stuff will help communicate it better to the potential backer out there.
Oh, so move it under the description blurb.
Yeah. Move it under the headline, and then underneath it would have written and created by S. Sanchez, inking and coloring by Jan Apple, etc.
Like where specifically, like where it says like updates will be provided, that part, or the one that describes the size of the book.
Yeah. Can you? Does my mouse pointer show up because I can't see both screens at the same time?
Yeah, it shows up.
Okay, so yeah, it would be in this section would be the cover, and then obviously it would shift it down, and then you would have everything written and created, etc. would be following that cover image.
Yeah, the first thing you see, cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Indiegogo because it is the square, so you always have to put your piece of art you can't do a comic.
Yeah, you got to retool it and or crop it and whatever it may be. But
you can put it right underneath it though.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's about it. I mean, that's at least. I don't want to start. It looks like it's still a work in progress in terms of the campaign, so I don't want to start nitpicking here and there and whatever, because it looks like you still have a little ways to go. But yeah, the biggest takeaways: take Beyonce out of that. Don't mention her whatsoever. Don't let her have the credit
it's free.
For your creation.
Yeah, free advertising. No wait.
She's got enough money and attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Right.
The rest of it with how you describe it, make sure you get your main character in there and make sure it's a little more concise in terms of the character and story with the description, and then shift certain elements in their importance, their hierarchical importance. Make sure you have that really down.
Okay.
Let's see. Miss Rena, this is from Antoine, says, Miss Rena, do you think it would be possible to publish with a lower goal? I'm a bit concerned about the 5K goal based on what's here and the fact that you are relatively new.
No, the 5K goal I'll have to do. I spoke with Neff about that. It was originally 6K, but we brought it down to 5K to make it more manageable.
I think, honestly, depending upon the different elements that you brush up, and if you get the graphics with the perks and things like that, also then depending upon how you promote. I already know that you've been promoting pretty well. You've got a lot of people on that pre-launch list, so you should be set with 5K. I think your campaign will do anywhere between 7 to 10. If you keep promoting it the same way that you were promoting it to get people signed up, you should be set, and then keep people updated in the loop. I think you'll be fine. And then other than that, let's see. Yeah, the book is $15. That's pretty good. So, yeah, I think you should be. I think you'd be set. I think you can get a couple hundred people on board here. But again, it has to be tweak some of this stuff and then put your strongest impression on day one.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, that's it. Yeah, no problem at all. I think you got a lot of good stuff ahead of you. But thank you for sharing this today, and all the best of luck with your project.
That's
Thank
great
you.
art.
Oh,
That's great.
thank you. I sent you a DM, Pete, so you can like look at it when you get a chance.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Let me hope that it got in there. Oh, don't listen to them. I'll just tell you that now, live. Don't listen to them. That's you need room to ink, and I mean not ink, to letter. That's great. If I showed this page right now to everybody, they'd be like, "What are they talking about?" You need room to letter. If this was just like it is, and there's no lettering, and it's just like an image, I'd be like, "Okay, I see what you're saying, maybe." But no,
Is the background on the center bottom center?
no,
The
that's
girl's
fine.
raising her hand.
That's fine.
Someone told me that.
You need negative space to create a focal point. That's fine.
Oh, okay. Because someone told me they hated like manga that didn't have like fully developed background or that had backgrounds at all.
No, because I mean, I'm thinking when you have the hand up top. I mean, is it okay if I show this?
Yes.
Okay. Let me show this then. Because goodness. I've lost my mind. Possible too. Yeah, I'm in comics for 16 years. Anything's possible. All right. So on this page, I'm this is the unfinished, it needs more, whatever, especially in the focal point there with the hand raised in that character. I'm seeing that there's a perfect spot right there to letter on the right above on the right side, our right, not the character's right, and then to point the balloon down. That would fill up all the possible space that you'd be putting a background there. So it makes no sense to me there to flush it out with a background when you have space here for lettering. You need space for lettering, otherwise it's going to create a very crowded page.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
And will this is it going to be in color or is it black and white only?
It's going to be black and white, but the color
Okay.
is stretch gold.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, so then you leave room for coloring too, because those guys.
It's just
Yeah,
that I
I
get
didn't
kind
know
of
that,
a
but-
lot of advice that I don't know. It's just
Well, there's too many chefs spoil the pot. You ever heard of that?
yeah.
An art by committee is never good.
Mm-mm,
That
yeah.
one too.
It's
So
your
once
book,
once you start having a whole bunch of people, that's the thing, is that you have to get to a point where you're like, okay, everyone's advice and feedback, even ours today, it's useful, not useful, whatever. You have to make that determination. Does it ring true to you? If you look at this, or if you got this the first time around and you're like, no, I'm really happy with this, I think this looks great, and then someone comes along and is like, oh, well, it should be this and it should be that. Well, they're also now judging a work in progress too. So it makes it very difficult to make a proper decision. That's why I'm also saying that when you go to back something, if there's a work in progress page, it makes it difficult for any backer to go in there and go, I don't know. It's a work. It's going to change. I don't know what that's going to be. Whereas if they flip through the book, you want to create that experience. They flip through the book. They see pages that are finished. They're like, oh, I could back that. I could buy that. So you want to make sure to do that. But so on something like this, I'm seeing this and I'm just thinking that's room for lettering. You can't crowd all the space here. I think it's a great page. There's a lot of dynamic quality to this page, and the negative space is creating a focal point.
Okay, I see what you mean. The only issue with the cover art is that I need to like put my name as well as my artist's name, but should I have like regular font, or should I have the font stylized similar to the title, or have it be completely different?
Let me see what your cover was. All right. So there's the cover. I would suggest move Magic Gal Media to the top left. And then
I did that, but someone said they couldn't see it properly.
Oh, just make sure that it's darker. That's all. Is you can just make it a little darker. Have whoever designed that cover, the color scheme on the font itself, just a little darker, or just put like a little shadow. I think there actually is a little shadow underneath in some way. You can make that a little bit more, but I would change that and decrease the size a bit so it doesn't overlap on the moon. Because right now too, it tangents on the moon, so it's touching it a bit. You can decrease the size of that, put it in the left, and then this way it fits nice and snug right there.
Decrease
and then
the
as far
size
as
of
the
brand name.
Yeah. And then you can move you could put either your names on the top right, or you can put them at the bottom and move the logo up a little bit.
My name's.
But I would put your names in a more traditional type of font.
Oh, okay.
Unless it's
traditional-
unless it's easy for you guys. Only because you don't want then competing elements of, Magic Gal Media is already a flashy logo, and then Black Rhapsody is a flashy logo, especially then with the music notes and everything. Then if you have a flashy, here's our name, it starts turning into these competing graphic elements. So I would just put like a simple kind of font that's more, not like Times New Roman or nothing like that, but something that's more along the lines of something a bit more standard.
Okay. So what about, would it be best to put our names on the top left instead of the top right?
I would honestly say the bottom. If I really had to choose here, let me see if I can zoom out a bit to get the whole thing on the screen. I would honestly say move up that a little bit and then put your names on the bottom. So if it's just the two of you, you can put your name, space, 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 and then the other name, and then center it, along with the rest of the image.
Okay, so just move the title up a bit.
Yeah. And then move Magic Gal Media, make that smaller, and I would say put that in the left. But otherwise it's not that far off.
Move brand to the left. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Miss Reiner, for stopping by today. Best of luck with the project. And I think you've got a lot to do, but you're well on your way.
Yeah, it looks
Thank
great
you.
so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for your advice. It was really helpful.
No problem. All right. Take it easy. Have a great one.
Bye.
All right. So that's it for us today. We went about almost a half hour over. So I really got a jet.
Aren't you glad I was here for all of my useful advice I gave people?
Well, it was useful. You put some good words of wisdom in there every now and then.
I really made this show pop.
Well, it's
You're
hard
welcome.
for you to get a word in edgewise when I don't shut the hell up.
Nope, I'm out of my depth with most of this stuff.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah, I appreciate you being here, Kier.
Yes, sir.
And everybody in the chat, appreciate you guys being here too. And everyone else that was on here that was brave enough to step up and get some feedback on their piece. We're not going to be mean to you. We want the best for you. We want to make sure that you guys succeed and that your readers love what you're making. But it's still a harrowing experience to get your stuff out there, put it in front of someone, and then they're like, I like it, I don't like it, here's what it is, So big kudos to you guys that ever step up for the feedback forum. It means a lot, and great attitude across the board for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for me. I'm out today. I've got a bunch of stuff to do, and then we got books coming tomorrow.
Ooh.
So probably not going to have a Fan Friday show. Probably not even going to have a draw stream on Saturday.
Makes sense.
But I want to make sure, I get a lot of stuff done over the weekend, especially Easter weekend and whatnot. I'll be working, but that's how it is.
That's right, working man.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and I'll see you when I see you.
All right,
Everyone,
see you later. Thanks for having me.
Easy. No problem at all, Kier. Thanks for being here, buddy.